Greetings. My name's Guy Dauncey, and this is the show called Change the World, where we try to change the world, basically. We're emphasizing people who've got vision, who've got passion, who are doing something positive for the future. And my guests today come all the way from Cobble Hill via Uganda, are Shayna and Ado Grimwood-Adam. So to introduce you, Shayna's Executive Director of Ecomama's Global Community Gardens, and also a Director of Ecomama's Uganda, a former General Manager of the Institute of Holistic Nutrition in Vancouver. Ado's co-founder of Ecomama's Global Gardens, Community Gardens and Ecomama's Uganda, also an organic gardener, proud African-Canadian father with Shayna together of 3 beautiful children who light up your lives and bring purpose to everything and stop you getting any work done, I'm sure, right? Ado speaks 5 languages, passions organic gardening, vision for sustainability through organic agriculture in Africa. So, and you've got this wonderful project going on. We bumped into each other at a serendipitous thing of the world at a restaurant, what's it called? Whole Foods in Victoria. And just the universe brought us together. And I said, I want to have you on my show to talk about what you're doing in Uganda. What is Ecomama's Global Community Gardens?
So we started in Kenya in 2009.
Yes.
Really just connecting with local change makers who were really wanting to make a difference for local people in the community. Yeah, so we met a really amazing man named Felix, who was Kenyan, who really wanted to offer training in sustainability, organic agriculture, biodynamic farming to adult orphans in his community that otherwise couldn't afford education elsewhere. And so he was running a school there, and I had been traveling on contract with another organization and ran into him there, and he said, listen, we'd really love to incorporate a holistic nutrition component to the work that we're doing. Would you consider coming on board? And
so how long ago would that be?
2009.
2009, so 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. So yeah, and he said, you know, will you stay and teach at the school and you know, try and see what we can do here. And from there, the project's just really grown. So we've got.
So how did you two meet?
We met in Uganda.
In my hometown. While Shayna was having a break from the project she was doing with Felix in Kenya.
Right. So you were working on organic agriculture before that, right?
From my dad's home,
And herbal medicine.
And herbal medicine.
Part
right.
of the
so you had a lot in common.
Yes.
You went click, click, click.
Yeah.
And Shayna started telling me, oh, do you know Moringa? I was like, oh, yes, I have Moringa right here. Do you know how it looks like? And
Moringa?
Yeah.
What is Moringa?
Moringa is a superfood, ancient Indian tree plant that is very commonly grown in Uganda right now. And in Canada, they're using it as a super supplement.
Right.
It grows, Moringa. It's a complete protein. It's basically a full vitamin and mineral supplement as well, but it's leafy greens that you can grow in a salad. So part of the work that we were doing is working with local culture to reconnect with indigenous medicine.
So you could have a Moringa band singing a Moringa song.
That's it. Yeah, so it was really wonderful. I mean, when I met, I'd been doing a lot of research with Artemisia annua as well, which is Artemisia annua, which is a herb that we use very, very effectively with the prevention of malaria, which is a pretty big global issue in tropical countries. So, you know, when Ado was growing it on his land as well.
An old herb that the elders would have used for many years?
Yeah.
Yes, it's originally from China.
Oh.
Like the story that we had during the tropical natural medicine course that we both did.
Yes.
The Chinese used it during the Vietnam War, and somehow they were not getting sick from malaria. Right. So they knew it. And
so I know from my history as an Englishman that when the English went out to Africa, and especially to equatorial areas, they all died from different tropical diseases. They, oh my goodness, they said, this is so many diseases here.
Yes.
And so you're now taking a herbal approach to help tackle some of these diseases, right?
Yes, and that's one of the main projects we're doing at the Eco Community is trying to go back into the natural way of healing the community rather than going for pharmaceuticals.
Right.
So we've right now planted a tropical natural medicine.
So let's go straight, before we get to that, we'll have some pictures very shortly. The Wakalenge eco-village, how did you get from talking herbalism and falling in love to forming an eco-village, right?
Right. So I met Ado at the end of a trip to East Africa, and I'd been there for 5 months already.
Okay.
So a lot of the projects we'd created in Kenya.
Yes.
I came home and opened this holistic campus of the Holistic Nutrition College in Vancouver, and was able to send students every 3.5 months on exchange, and were able to send money and resources, and it was really, really wonderful and very sustainable. So our projects in Kenya became sustainable through Kenyans that we have on the ground, teaching herbal medicine, teaching holistic nutrition.
How many have you got who trained in this?
I think Felix had guessed he had over 500 garden beds that he'd established. So there were quite a few. I've got some pictures later we'll show of the people who are running the projects there. But basically our projects in Kenya became sustainable.
So you're still getting to how you create a whole your village project.
Yeah, so the move into Uganda was when we partnered with, her name's Brandy Friesen, a holistic nutritionist who came back after doing the exchange in Africa and said, I'd really love to partner with you. Let's kind of make this happen. And so there was a trip around East Africa, lots of research in the community, and this place in Jinja, which is close to where Ado actually grew up, really was the place that the universe sort of landed on that said, let's do this here.
Well, let's go straight to some pictures, get some reality to it. We throw the first slide up in a second. Because you give me about 20 pictures altogether. So tell me what, you've got a circle of people around a bit of cleared land here. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, so this is the land that we purchased. It's 6.5 acres of land that we purchased a year ago.
So I've got to ask.
In Uganda.
I know what 6.5 acres costs on Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
What does 6.5 acres cost in Uganda, rural Uganda?
How do we translate from UGX?
It was about...
I think it was 50,000 Canadian-ish. Yeah, I think it was around $50,000.
$50,000.
Yeah, which is still quite a lot.
So it's a tenth of the price. It's the same as it's 500,000 out here.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so carry on anyway.
Yeah, so we were gifted that as a support,
Fantastic.
and we purchased it under Eco Mamas Uganda, which is an entity itself. So that land is for the sole benefit of the people in the community. That's not something any of us can
It's like a community land trust.
Yeah, it is, and that's where the community gardens are.
Yeah.
So
let's have the next picture up while we're talking about this one.
Yeah,
so now we've got some active work happening here.
Yeah, so these are the members actually digging the biointensive beds. So we have about 60 community members in the community who have kind of signed up to do this biointensive agricultural training with us that we offer for free. And it's a hands-on training course in sustainability.
How does the biointensive method relate to what you know about organic methods?
It's basically, to me, makes sense. It's from the ancient way of taking care of the soil.
Yes.
So with biointensive agriculture, you use mostly manure, which is not bad to the earth.
Yeah.
It's gonna give nutrients back.
From local cattle?
From local cattle,
yes.
And from local plants.
Yes.
Make them ferment and compost, and then
so you're fermenting the plants, not just composting?
You're composting them. Yes, and that's what they're doing. The picture before, the previous picture, they were putting manure onto the beds.
Do you make compost teas as well, and the liquids?
Yes.
Right. Okay, what's the next image coming up then?
Yeah, so that one right there was actually a youth group, which is relatively new. It's really exciting. We've sort of always focused in adult training.
Oh yeah, they're all young, I can see that.
Because the adults in the community are making decisions for these children's future about whether or not they're going to send them to school, about what kind of foods they're purchasing for them, about whether or not it's important to have organic things. A lot of their children are getting sick, unbelievably, but one of the biggest things that we're working with in the village is cancer, because people are, the big corporations, and we don't need to drop the regular names, but they're...
The junk food has arrived.
Oh yes. Junk food has arrived.
And this is in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I grew up not knowing cancer as a... Never heard of cancer as a disease when I grew up.
And now it's very,
and right now
very
it's very, very, very common.
Let's have the next slide up to carry on this process.
So these are children's groups now that we're also
so that's
trying
now
to...
the same border, 3 months on or 2 months on or something?
Yeah, this is actually one of our community gardens in Kenya.
Okay.
So yeah, we've got them kind of all around. So yeah, this was one of our projects from a few years ago.
The next slide is...
This is Ado in the middle.
Yes.
And, these are some of our first community members that enrolled.
Okay. And the next one? Okay.
Yeah, so this is a great snapshot of the eco village. So as far as some of what we've kind of accomplished this year, we've repurposed a shipping container into an office and a classroom. We've built composting toilets for the community members. We've built a sustainable sandbag roundhouse. So everything that we're doing, we're utilizing local people.
A shipping container in Uganda not get awfully hot inside?
That's why we have a roof on top, a grass thatched roof on top.
Yeah, we have local people, cut windows for us and do custom bar work for us with kind of leaves and things. So yeah, and it provides a great deal of shade for the
When I lived in Senegal for a while, we made houses. We actually cut from the mud in the ground. You make the bricks and dry them and stack them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They're thick and quite cool because they're good thick mud, right?
Yeah, and so these are some of the technologies that we're really trying to kind of get people to remember. It's a remembrance, right? These are technologies that they had before, but we've really lost with westernization.
So let's carry on with the images so we can work through them and then get back to conversation. So
yeah,
there's a couple of eco-mamas, I think.
There's an eco-mama, yeah. So
and an eco-babe.
Yeah, this is a very special woman, actually. So Juliet, the woman on the left, is she runs all of our projects in Kenya.
Oh wow! So when you're in Cobble Hill, she's running the show.
Yeah, in Kenya. Yeah, we have got Felix, who's
you've got two main projects.
Yeah, we've got Kenya and we've got Uganda. So so Juliet's been working with us since 2009, and she does outreach to women's groups in the community primarily. She works with women affected with HIV and AIDS and does all holistic nutrition.
So she's a trained holistic nutritionist.
I've trained her unofficially with everything that I can. Yeah. Okay,
let's have the next one then.
These are just some of the beneficiaries, children in the community who are there while we're teaching.
Yeah, well, I wanted to include that for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the next one, there we go.
That's another one of Juliet with a group in the garden.
Yes.
So this is kind of a traditional education setting. We really do a lot of hands-on work.
Right.
So people are able to integrate it at home.
And the guy in the back, Stephen, the guy in a black sweater, he's one of the beneficiaries of our projects. His job was to go and spray people's gardens with chemicals.
Oh.
And his skin all of a sudden got a rash. And
we,
through Felix, we talked to him.
Yes.
And he dropped that job, and he's now one of our employees.
Different topic, but off to one side. We got a friend who's a hairdresser. She's been cutting people's hair and dressing it for 30 years. Her arms are covered in cancerous cells. She might even lose an arm because of all the chemical sprays and stuff like that. But anyway, back to the village, right?
Yeah. But I think it really does speak to kind of the state of our global community.
Yeah.
You know, it's
love
everywhere.
Love affair with chemicals and stuff like that.
And it permeates class, it
permeates our own skin.
Yeah.
Yes, so back to so now we've got the circle of the women.
Yeah, so this is Brandy, our partner and director. She's doing also a holistic nutritionist, as am I. So she's doing holistic food preparation classes. So this is food that the members have grown on site themselves with seeds. West Coast Seeds has been one of our sponsors.
Right. So this is different from, obviously they've been cooking food for a million years, right? So this is different though, right?
You know what? A lot of the foods, unfortunately, the reason they're getting sick is, we're going back to white rice, white bread, sugar. You know, they think that the kind of colonized diet that they've had is their diet, and it's not. They've really lost connection with the traditional foods.
This is going to sound like I'm travel story, but when I was in Morocco, the community had just discovered white bread, which was for sale in the supermarkets.
Right.
But on the street markets, you could find the black bread, which is thick and tasty and healthy. And they were all oh no, white bread is the fashionable. That's what we need to eat. And I think, oh my goodness, they're moving away from really healthy food.
Yeah. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, right now in Africa, it's KFCs.
Yeah, there's
And,
KFCs popping up.
Yes, and that's what the young generation.
Kentucky Fried.
Yeah,
Yes,
so the young
yes.
generation thinks that's a way of looking cool. I'm not gonna eat the local food. I should go and have.
So then you need to get on television, like now, in Africa,
Yes.
to eating the ancient, the traditional diets,
Traditional
to give
diets.
that cool factor.
Well, and it's interesting because, you know, even on the way here, we were talking about it. They are so open. You know, when we talk holistic
Yes.
nutrition, when we talk herbal medicine, when we talk
Yes.
about sustainability, there's a remembrance because they're not that many generations
Right.
off of, you know, this kind of Western,
So
eat
anyone
everything white
ov-
and bleached. And
Anyone over 40 or 50 knows how they.
yes, yes,
Yes.
Ado's mom, I can eat her food, you know, which you know, but his
Yes.
siblings, not so much.
There
So
you go.
it's,
Let's have the next image up.
yeah.
There we go. So this is the certificates.
Yeah.
This is part of your training?
Yeah, so we're offering, right now it's a certificate program in biointensive agriculture, and the really cool thing is that for some of these people, this will be the only piece of paper that they may receive
Right.
with their name on it in their lives, specifically the women in the community.
So they feel proud of that achievement then?
Yeah, yeah, it's transformative.
Yeah,
So
and
this
that-
is our,
and if you look
Yeah.
closely, they're all holding their certificates, right?
yeah, their certificates and their shovels.
They're proud with all smiles.
How long would they have been training to earn that certificate?
So the program is a year long. This particular group did it in 9 months as an intensive because we didn't get started until March last
And if
year.
I'm right, in Uganda, Kenya, you haven't really got winter in the same way that we have up here, do you?
No.
So you can grow throughout.
You can grow throughout,
can.
yes.
Although one of our challenges,
It's, the global warming and climate change is a really
Yeah.
big challenge right now, yeah.
But if you're
tracking
then,
the rains.
but if you
and-
haven't got a winter season when you put a mulch crop down and do nothing, is there a danger of getting your cropping too much and you lose the soil fertility?
Not in a biointensive
Okay,
system because
right.
you're always feeding the soil.
feeding
Feeding the
soil.
soil, and
Yeah.
that's the basic in biointensive agriculture is
Yes.
you're healing your soil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as you grow, the plants get the nutrients out of the soil,
Yes.
and that's what you eat.
So is the land where you're growing, would it, if you go back 500 years, would it have all been jungle with small clearings?
Yes, it's similar to subsistence farming, it's not monocropping.
Yes.
So the land takes care of itself. The leaves fall, and then they
Right.
form a mulch,
Yeah.
and you know the soil heals itself.
Yeah.
It's similar to this.
And do you actually collect the leaves for composting, or you just let them fall and rot in their own way, their own time?
A long time ago, we used to just let them
Yes.
like earth heals itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the next image then? Coming up, we're all turning on the camera to train on next. So what's
Yeah.
happening here? What's the drink they're all having?
This is so fun. So this is a green smoothie.
A green smoothie, right?
Yeah. So this is, and again, it's all greens that
An organic, biointensive green smoothie.
Yeah, and it's all greens that they've grown themselves in their own gardens. So while we realize not everyone has access to a blender and that this is a
Right, yes.
privilege, if one person in the community has one at a project like ours,
I'm thinking a bicycle power blender
there's
coming up.
bicycle-powered blenders. There's so many sustainable
Yes.
solutions,
Yes.
and the technology's there. It's just accessibility.
Yes.
So this is Juliet, our Kenya project coordinator, handing it out
Right.
at the local Ginger Agri Fair last year. Yeah.
So we've got 10 minutes left, so let's move ahead with the next image. This is the building you talked about.
Yeah.
What's happening here? What method is that? What method of building is that?
You were there, so.
It's plastic bags.
Yes.
And they're filled with earth.
Okay, soil, earth.
Soil,
Yes,
yes, earth.
yes.
Sandbags.
And Glenn is our director's
Partner.
Yes.
So he did the measurements. He's
Yes.
he's
Okay.
a math person,
Yeah.
and got the whole community together. They bagged the bags,
Yeah.
and
So
got the structure started.
what happens in 20 years when the plastic starts degrading?
You know, this is the thing. From a sustainability standpoint, we're always working towards. We talked
Yeah.
about kind of what are some of the challenges for us.
Yeah.
We're just starting, so we're making the best decisions that we've
Right.
got with the resources that we've
Yes.
had. That being said, from a dream come true standpoint,
Yeah.
everything that we have would ultimately serve the earth.
Yes.
So,
Because you could do a cob building or rammed earth building with that soil?
absolutely. Yeah.
This is supposed to last longer,
Oh, okay.
Yes, probably 100 years.
Would you do a stucco finish?
Yeah,
Yes.
outside
yeah,
the-
and
Yes,
it's done.
yes.
In that case, there's no light getting into.
No.
Yes,
It's,
no.
then it will last if it's all stuccoed on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
it's
so
plastered.
which is similar then to a cob
Yeah,
technique.
and besides, it's a good way to show, because it's plastic everywhere, so it's a good
Waste,
way
so
to show
waste.
if you can recycle your plastic.
It's a local waste, otherwise, which is blowing in the trees and yeah. What's the
Yeah.
next image then? That's just a close-up of the same thing, right?
Yeah, but that is Seth on the right-hand side. So he's one of the beneficiaries on our site that we'd talked about, who's
Yes.
we'd sponsored to go through school, and so he's now a photojournalist
Oh,
who's
wow.
also completing his degree in political science. Who's just
wow.
a total success story with,
Yeah.
you know, just who would have ended up probably not very well off or you know on the street
Yeah.
and. Yeah, does our writing
Okay,
for
that's
us
great.
and our photographs.
So as
and
well as a collective project, you're individually helping the people individually.
we do what we can.
Let's have the next image up. So what have we got here?
Oh, that's our borehole.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Which you
the
drill
first
for
thing.
water, right?
Yes, that was. There was no way we could think of getting water.
Yeah. How deep did you have to go?
80 meters.
80
Yeah.
80 meters?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, whoa, that's
yeah,
a
it
long
was
way
yeah,
down.
and for that reason, it's quite an investment to dig
Yeah.
a borehole rather than a well.
Yes.
So depending on droughts, again, climate change, wells may not be sustainable, but this borehole provides water to everyone in the community.
So you're pulling on an aquifer then, probably.
Yeah.
That deep.
Yeah.
So the next image then. All the men together with you, right?
Yeah, well, actually, and
There's a woman there.
No,
yeah.
there's about 4 or 5 women in that
they're up
picture
there.
as
Oh,
well.
that's right, yes.
That was our very first graduating group prior to Ado and I even meeting.
Right, okay.
And that's Felix on my left, so
Yep.
on the right of that photo in the black
Okay.
and red,
Yep.
who's now running all of our projects in Uganda. So
Right.
he's a single dad and
Wow.
is a superhero
Okay.
and just an amazing human. And you know, just talking about this kind of shift in consciousness that's
Yeah.
happening. I know we've got to be aware of time, but
Yeah, we've got about 8 minutes. So let's go to the next image then.
Yeah.
So weaving.
right. So in an effort to try and really make our projects more sustainable,
Yes.
you know, people always ask like, how do you run a nonprofit full time? Like, how do you
Yes.
run a charity? Where is the money coming from?
Yes.
And from a value system standpoint, we've never been okay with taking anyone's donation money for our own sustainability.
Right. Yes.
You know, to travel the world.
Yeah.
And so we've started importing a handful of products from women's groups specifically. So there's a basket weaving group that's
Right.
from our eco village,
Okay.
from
right.
our community, and they're
Yes.
hand weaving with natural
That's in
fibers.
our eco village in Shawnigan.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, totally,
Yes,
totally, yeah.
yeah.
And
So that's
these,
one of the pieces of cloth that you.
yeah, and these really beautiful
Yes.
textiles that are all non-GMO, Ugandan
Yes.
grown cotton with natural dyes.
Right.
And so,
So that's our last image. I'm now going to do a bit of magic because
Oh.
you just gave me this, so I can actually unveil the whole thing. with
Yes.
maybe, isn't that?
thank you.
This is hand woven then.
It's hand woven.
From the cotton is from
Non-GMO cotton.
Non-GMO cotton.
Sustainably grown.
and grown where?
in Uganda.
In Uganda.
Uganda.
Yeah.
And the
So
color dyes are from.
they're all natural. They have
natural
all of
dyes
their
as well.
organic certifications for Europe.
So there we go. Now keep the
yes,
microphone
no,
safe.
you want to don't match.
Yeah. Or it's multi-purpose, or I can use it as a tablecloth.
Yes, for sure.
or
Yeah, I'm going to keep this
a
on for now, right?
baby carrier.
Baby carrier.
But
Yes.
yeah, this for us. So you know, we're working a lot of festivals. We're working kind of trade shows. This is our way of generating sustainable work for people
Right.
in these communities.
So let me get to the nub of this because we've got 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need as a project out there? It's just fantastic what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're living here in Cobble Hill and then traveling back and forward.
Yeah.
What do you need from people? If viewers are feeling inspired.
RBC visa points for avion travel. No, I think really what we need is anyone who feels that doing this work in Uganda is viable, support for the students to participate would be invaluable. You know, we're really wanting to turn their certificate program into a full-fledged degree program. We'd like to have a K-12 green school. That's our dream, you know, vocational, sustainability-based,
Yes.
green technologies. But the students' parents don't have money for their tuition. So
Right.
if we can get people to provide scholarships for the students
Yes.
and just support a student to go through the program, it's really changing the world one person
What
at
is
a
it?
time.
Give us some realistic points here. What does a scholarship cost? What's he looking at?
Yeah, so to send a child to school, like a local child,
Yes.
right now $600 is enough for all of their transport.
For
For a year.
A year.
Yeah, for a year, meals, all of that. To
Yes.
send an adult through the vocational program, $1,000 for tuition and $1,500 if they wanted to pay
Okay.
for everything for the
So,
whole
so
year.
we're used to public schooling and it's free.
Right,
So,
totally.
and now you're paying the local people. There's no public education yet in Uganda then.
There is, but there's a cost to it.
Then
And
it's
so,
not. Then it's not public in that sense. It's still
it's not public
not
in
free.
that sense. Yeah, and you know, we're not teaching sustainability. We're not talking about green
Well,
technology.
that's right,
You know,
yes.
and that's
So-
how we're going to make
so-
a change in the world.
So $600 can sponsor one of the students to go through school.
Yep, one of the children.
And 1,000, 1,500
for an adult to do a vocational training program.
and that's a year as well?
Over a year,
Well,
yeah.
those are manageable numbers for viewers
Yeah,
watching, right?
yeah, yeah.
And if someone, I know the thing about white people going to volunteer in Africa has got all the sorts of debris around it.
Yeah.
Do you need, is volunteers
we
helpful?
love to have volunteers, absolutely, especially people who have a passion in sustainability.
I think the cultural exchange is really valuable.
it's extremely
Yes,
valuable.
because you're learning, you're both learning both ways, yeah.
And if they have this heart and thinking, and
Yeah.
as we are,
Yeah.
Yes.
then yes, for sure.
So is there a spiritual dimension? We've got 2 minutes left, so is there a spiritual dimension to what you're doing here?
Yeah, our philosophy is love.
Love
So
and good heart.
we really focus on everyone welcome, non-denominational, non-segregational, no gender discrimination, none of it. We want to create a space that's safe for all ages.
Are the villages traditionally a patriarchal or matriarchal emphasis?
Patriarchal.
The men run. When I lived in Senegal, the men ran the show. The women worked all year long.
Right.
The men worked in the rainy season on the crops, but they just
Well,
sit and talk.
I would joke that the
Talk.
men think that they run the show, but it's really the women who are in charge. So I think that that's what some of the Ugandan men would say.
I think things are changing. Like Uganda has most of the members of parliament are women, and
Right, wow.
yes.
Yeah, more female members of parliament than any
Rwanda.
other.
Well, we got to wrap up soon. So, so love is your guiding philosophy for this. Well, I think it's just fantastic what you're doing. So thank you so much. Let me shake your hand and acknowledge you in public for that
Thank
leadership,
you.
for
Thank
vision,
you.
for change to the world. Right.
Thank
so
you.
yeah.
Thanks for having us, Guy. We're
Pleasure,
so
and we'll
grateful.
put your website up. So this
Thank you.
this has been the show called Change the World. My name's Guy Dauncey. My guests have been Shayna and Ado Grimwood-Adam. And one of my contributions is this book called, let's remember, Journey to the Future. A Better World is Possible. It's a novel set in Vancouver in the year 2032, which says, in a city like Vancouver, how can all these ideas happen in a positive, visionary way? If you like this kind of show, tune in next week for more, and have a great day, evening, life. Thanks. Bye-bye.